my name is Kirti. In this video, we will learn Lindemann theory of unimolecular gaseous reactions. So this is an important topic for both CSIR NET and GATE exam. So in this video, I will cover the theory portion of the topic, and in the next video, we will solve few problems related to this Lindemann theory. Okay. So let's get started. What is unimolecular gaseous reactions? First of all, what are gaseous reactions? The reactions in which the reactants are gas molecules. Okay, the reactions in which reactants are gas molecules are called gaseous reactions. So what are unimolecular gaseous reactions? Suppose there is a reaction A plus B giving rise to product. So there are two molecules involved in this reaction, right? There are two reactants involved to give this product B. So this is an example of a bimolecular reaction. So this is bimolecular. Now consider the reaction A giving rise to the product B. So here only one reactant molecule is involved in the reaction to give the product. So such reactions are called unimolecular reactions. Unimolecular reactions. So what are the examples of unimolecular reactions? So A can decompose to give products B and C, or A can undergo isomerization to give some product B. So decomposition and isomerization are typical examples for unimolecular reactions. So what are the examples of unimolecular reactions? Decomposition and isomerization. So Lindemann, he proposed a theory to explain the kinetics of such unimolecular gaseous reactions. So in this video, we are going to learn this Lindemann theory. So to understand how this unimolecular gaseous reactions are happening, let us consider a reaction. So let us first consider a reaction vessel. Okay. So in this vessel, the reaction is happening. So there are some gas molecules present in the vessel, and these all gas molecules are of same type. Suppose these gas molecules are A. Okay. I should close the vessel because since these are gas molecules, they can fly out of this vessel, right? So I need to close the vessel. Okay, these are gas molecules A. So we know that gas molecules have kinetic energy. So they are continuously moving. So when they move in this vessel, there is a chance that two gas molecules collide with each other. Suppose A is colliding with other molecule A. Now what will happen? This molecule A will transfer its kinetic energy to the other A molecule. Now this molecule gets energy and it becomes A star. So A star represents the energized molecule. And this molecule will lose some kinetic energy, and I will represent it with A. Okay. So A is colliding with A. So this is transferring its kinetic energy. So this molecule gains energy and it becomes A star, and this molecule will lose some energy and it will be A. Okay. So here we need to note one thing, that this molecule is transferring energy in the form of kinetic energy, but this molecule is storing this kinetic energy in the form of vibrational energy. Okay. So the molecule which is receiving the kinetic energy is storing it as vibrational energy. Now A star will be in its higher vibrational energy state. So when A star is in higher vibrational energy state, what will happen? The bonds in this molecule A star will vibrate with higher frequency. So if the bonds if the bonds vibrate with higher frequency, there is a chance that those bonds break and the molecule can decompose. Okay. So there are two possibilities with this A star. Let us see what are they. It can collide with other molecule and lose its kinetic energy and come back to its original state. So this is one possibility. And the other possibility is that At this higher vibrational energy, the bonds of A star might break and form products. So this is other possibility. So A star can come back to its original state, or A star can give product. So to explain this unimolecular gaseous reaction, Lindemann proposed a mechanism of 2 steps. So in the first step, he said that A collides with A to give A star plus A. So the rate constant in this direction is K1 and the rate constant in this direction is represented by K minus 1. So here A is transferring its energy to A and it is becoming A star, and this is de-energized A molecule. Now this A star can come back to its original state by colliding with other molecule. So therefore this step is reversible, and in the second step A star can give rise to product. Okay. So the rate constant for this step is given by K2. So this was the mechanism proposed by Lindemann for unimolecular gaseous reaction. Now what is the rate of formation of product for this reaction? So rate of formation of product is given by dP by dt, that is change in concentration of product by change in time. So product is forming in this step, and we know that rate is given by rate constant into concentration of reactants. So what is rate constant here? K2, and concentration of reactant is A star. Okay. But we do not have the value of concentration of A star. How do we find this A star? We can find this A star by finding the rate of formation of A star. So from these two steps we will find what is the rate of formation of A star. Okay, that is d A star by dt. So this is net rate of formation of A star in this mechanism. So we see that in the first step A star is being formed. So the first step is positive. What is the rate? Rate is rate constant into concentration of reactants. So what is rate constant in this direction? This is K1. And what is concentration of reactants? A into A. Okay. Now in this reverse step, the concentration of A star decreases, but we are looking at rate of formation of A star. So here the A star is not formed, it is deformed. Therefore, we take this sign minus here. And what is the rate constant in this direction? It is K minus 1. What is the reactant? So A star and A are the reactants. So in the second step, we see that the concentration of A star decreases. So again we need to take minus. So rate constant K2 into what is the reactant here? A star. So what can I do? I can write this A into A as A square. Okay. So from these two terms, I can take A star common. So what will I get? So this is K1 A square minus A star common. So I am taking minus common. So there will be plus here. So K minus 1 A plus K2. Okay. So this is d A star over dt. Now we need to apply steady state approximation to this step. So what is steady state approximation? So I have explained this in detail in enzyme substrate catalysis. Here I will give you a brief idea. So according to steady state approximation, the concentration of any short-lived species or any unstable species is considered to be constant for a short period of time dt. Okay. So if A star is constant for a short period of time dt, then what does d A star by dt becomes? This is equal to 0 because we know that differential of a constant is always 0. So this term becomes 0. So this is 0. So I can send this term to the left hand side and I'll get k minus 1 a plus k2 is equal to k2 into a star is equal to k1 a square, right? So what is a star? So I can get the value of a star as, I'll write it here. So a star is equal to k1 a square whole divided by k minus 1 a plus k2. K minus 1 into a plus k2. So this is the equation for concentration of A star. Now I'll put it back in this equation to get the rate equation. So what is A star? So A star is k1 a square by k minus 1 a plus k2. So this is the rate equation obtained from Lindemann theory for unimolecular gaseous reactions. So to solve any problem, you need to remember this rate equation or either you need to derive it, okay? So this is the rate equation for unimolecular gaseous reaction according to Lindemann theory. So for this rate equation, you can consider two cases. First is the high pressure condition. And second is the low pressure condition. So what is high pressure condition? So we know that this A is a gas molecule. So we know that for gas molecules, concentration is analogous to pressure, right? Concentration for gas molecules is analogous to pressure. That is, as pressure increases, concentration increases. So high pressure condition means nothing but at high concentration of gases. So at high concentration, what happens? This K minus 1 into A is far greater than K2, right? This is at high pressure or high concentration. So K minus 1 into A is far greater than K2. So in this case, you can neglect the value of K2 because it is very small when compared to this term K minus 1 into A. So what does rate become? So at high pressure condition, rate is equal to K1 into K2 A square by K minus 1 into A. So I can cancel this term A. So I am left with K1 into K2 by K minus 1 into A. So I will cancel this. So this is what we get. Okay. So we see that K1, K2 and K minus 1 are constants. So I can write rate as, suppose this is some constant K into A, right? Then rate is proportional to the concentration of A to the power 1. Okay. So this is a first order reaction, right? So this is first order. So we can say that at high pressure conditions, unimolecular gaseous reactions follow first order kinetics. Now let us see what happens to the rate at low pressure condition, that is at low concentration of gases. So we know that at low concentration or low pressure, what happens? K minus 1A is far less than K2. That means K2 is far greater than this term. So when K2 is far greater than this term can be neglected and rate becomes, so rate will be equal to K1, K2, A square by K2. So I can cancel K2 from here. So rate will be equal to K1 into A square, right? So rate is proportional to concentration of the reactant to the power 2. So we can say that at low pressure condition, the rate follows second order kinetics. So at low pressure conditions, unimolecular gaseous reaction follow second order kinetics. So this is second order kinetics. So in the examination, they might ask you a question like, at low pressure conditions, what is the order of unimolecular reactions? Or They can even ask at high pressure conditions what is the order of unimolecular gaseous reactions. So you need to know this, okay? Okay, order is done. What else is left? Actually, I forgot to tell you one important thing about K1. So this rate constant, K1 is a special rate constant. This rate constant is also called rate constant of activation step, okay? Rate constant of activation step. This is because in this step, what is happening? The energized molecule A star is forming. Only when this molecule forms, it can give rise to product, right? Therefore, this formation of A star is the activation step, and the rate constant, that is K1, corresponding to that step is rate constant of activation step. So in the examination, you might be asked to find the rate constant of activation step in any question, right? So when they say rate constant of activation step, they mean nothing but this K1, okay? Now let us try to understand what is effective rate constant K dash, what is K infinity, and condition for K dash to become K infinity and K infinity by 2. So let us understand it one by one. First, let's see what is effective rate constant K dash. So we know that the rate equation for unimolecular gaseous reaction by Lindemann is given by this equation, K1, K2 into A square by K minus 1 into A plus K2. But experimentally, it was found that rate is equal to some constant K dash into A. So this is the theoretical rate law given by Lindemann for unimolecular gaseous reaction, and this is the experimental rate law. So this rate constant in experimental rate law is called effective rate constant, okay? So this is effective rate constant. So now we need to find the value of effective rate constant K dash. So how do we do that? For that, we need to compare the experimental rate law and theoretical rate law. Okay. Here, can I write this A square as A into A? Now you compare this experimental rate equation with theoretical rate equation. So, if I consider this entire term as some constant, now the rate is equal to some constant into A, and here is rate is equal to some constant into A. Now can I equate this K dash to this term? I can do that, right? On comparing these two equations, I can get K dash equal to this term, right? So I'll write it here. K dash is equal to K1, K2 into A by K minus 1 into A plus K2. So this is the equation for effective rate constant. So this equation can be modified a bit. Let's see how do we do that. K dash is equal to, now I can divide the numerator and denominator by K minus 1 into A. Okay. So let's divide and see. So K1, K2, A. So the numerator is divided by K minus 1 into A, and now let's divide the denominator. So here I am dividing the denominator by K minus 1 into A. So in the numerator, you can cancel A with A, and here you can cancel these two terms. So what is the expression for K dash? K dash is equal to K1, K2 by K minus 1 whole divided by 1 plus K2 by K minus 1 into A. So these two expressions for K dash are important, okay? So now let us try to draw a graph between K dash versus A. let us draw a graph between K dash and A. This is the concentration of gas. So we know that this equation is similar to the equation of hyperbola. So the graph between K dash and A is a hyperbolic curve. Okay. So at high concentrations, we see that the rate becomes constant. So as we move to the higher concentration of gas or higher pressure, the effective rate constant becomes constant, and as you move to the low concentrations, the value of effective rate constant decreases. So now let us call this maximum value of effective rate constant at higher concentration as K infinity. So this is the K infinity. Okay. So K infinity is the maximum effective rate constant of a unimolecular gaseous reaction. So, okay, this is K infinity. Now let us try to find the value of K infinity from this equation. So when K dash becomes equal to K infinity, so what is the condition for K dash to become K infinity? That is high concentration of gas, right? This is high concentration or high pressure of gas. So at high concentration, let us see what happens to this equation. So we know that at high concentration, this denominator term, that is K minus 1 into A, is high. So this K minus 1 into A will be large at high concentration. Then K2 by K minus 1 into A becomes small. When denominator is very large, the entire term becomes small, right? So this term becomes very small when compared to 1. So when compared to 1, this can be neglected. So K dash will become K1 into K2 by K minus 1 at high pressure or high concentration of gas. So at high concentration of gas, K dash is equal to K infinity, which is equal to K1 into K2 by K minus 1. K1 into K2 by K minus 1. So this is the expression for K infinity. So at high pressure condition or high concentration of gas, K dash becomes equal to K infinity, and the value of K infinity is K1, K2 by K minus 1, and that we obtained from this equation. Now let us see the condition at which K dash becomes K infinity by 2. For that, consider the same equation. Now we know that K infinity is K1, K2 by K minus 1. So this numerator is K infinity, right? So for K dash to become K infinity by 2, this denominator should become 2. So for this denominator to become 2, this entire term should become 1. So 1 plus 1 becomes 2, right? And we know that for this term to become 2, K minus 1 into A should become equal to K2. Only then K2 and K2 will be cancelled. This becomes 1 and 1 plus 1 becomes K2. Sorry, 1 plus 1 becomes 2 and K dash will become K infinity by 2. So the condition for K dash to become K infinity by 2 is that K minus 1 into A should be equal to K2. So K minus 1 into A is equal to K2. Okay, I can write it this way. When K minus 1 into A is equal to K2, K dash is equal to K infinity by 2. So these two topics are very important. The condition for K dash to become K infinity and K dash to become K infinity by 2 are very important for competitive exams, and this effective rate constant is also important. So pay attention while watching this, okay? Okay, now we have learned what is effective rate constant. We have learned the condition for K dash to become K infinity, and we have also learned the condition for K dash to become K infinity by 2. So where will K infinity by 2 lie on this graph? So on this graph, this is K infinity. So K infinity, so this is K dash, okay? So K infinity by 2 lies somewhere at the center, right? So this will be K infinity by 2. Okay. So this is K infinity by 2. Now the concentration corresponding to this half of maximum rate effective rate constant is designated by A half. Okay. So the concentration at which k infinity becomes k infinity by 2 is represented as a half. So this is the condition for k infinity to become k infinity by 2, right? So this concentration will be a half. Okay. Okay, now let us try to draw a graph between 1 by k effective versus 1 by a. So this is the graph between k dash and a. Now let us try to draw a graph between 1 by k dash and 1 by a. By k dash versus 1 by a. So now let us try to find what is 1 by k dash from this equation. Or let us consider this equation. It is easy. So 1 by k dash is equal to k minus 1 into a plus k2 by, so I am just inverting this equation, okay. So the denominator becomes numerator and the numerator becomes denominator. So the numerator is k1 k2 into a. Now I will split this equation. So I will split the terms and I will get k1 k2 into a plus k2 by k1 k2 into a, right? Okay. So I can cancel this term here, a, and from here I can cancel k2. So 1 by k dash is equal to k minus 1 by k1 k2 plus 1 by k1 into 1 by a. I will write it somewhere here. So the equation is 1 by k dash is equal to k minus 1 by k1 k2 plus 1 by k1 into 1 by a. So if I consider this term as y, because this is our y coordinate, right, 1 by k dash, and this is x. Suppose if I consider this constant as m, and this k minus 1 is a constant, k1 and k2 are also constants. So I can represent it with single constant c. So this equation takes the form of a straight line equation with a positive slope. Y is equal to mx plus c. So the graph between 1 by k dash and 1 by a is a straight line graph. The y-intercept is, so the intercept is k minus 1 by k1 k2. So is it correct? K minus 1 into a plus, okay, it is k minus 1 by k1 k2. And the slope is given by 1 by k1. Okay, so this is the graph between 1 by k dash and 1 by a. So in the examination, they might give you the graph between 1 by k dash and 1 by a and ask you to find out the rate constant of activation step. I already told you that K1 is called rate constant of activation step. So this is rate constant of activation step because it is the rate constant of this step in the mechanism. So A plus A. So this is the activation step, right? So the rate constant of this step is K1. So this K1 is called rate constant of activation step. So from the slope, you can find the rate constant of activation step. Now let us look at the limitations of this theory. Let us see the limitations one by one. So the first limitation was about the mechanism. So I told you this was the mechanism. A plus A gives rise to A star plus A and A star gives product. So the rate constant in this step is K1, this is K minus 1 and this is K2. So many scientists said that this first step is not appropriate because they considered this step as a bimolecular step. I already told you that bimolecular reaction is a reaction in which two molecules are involved to give the product. So scientists said that this step is similar to a bimolecular step but not unimolecular. So for any unimolecular reaction, all the steps in the reaction should be unimolecular. So this is the first limitation of Lindemann theory, that all the steps are not unimolecular. Now let us see what is the second limitation. So I told you about A half, right? So I told you that, so this is the graph between K effective and A. So this is a hyperbolic graph. This is K infinity, and at half of this value we have K infinity by 2, and the concentration corresponding to this rate is A half, right? But experimental A half and theoretical A half do not match with each other. So this was the second limitation, that is experimental A half found was not equal to theoretical A half. Theoretical A half. The third limitation was about the rate equation. So we know that the rate of unimolecular gaseous reaction by Lindemann theory was given by this equation, K1 K2 A square by K minus 1 into A plus K2, right? So according to this rate, the unimolecular gaseous reaction, they follow a first order kinetics at high pressure condition and second order kinetics at low pressure condition. So this we have already discussed. But experimentally, I told you that rate is equal to some rate constant into A. So experimental rate law or experimental rate was observed to follow a first order kinetics for almost all gases. So this was the third limitation for Lindemann theory. Now let us see what was the fourth limitation. I have already shown you the graph between 1 by K dash versus 1 by A, right? It is a straight line with a slope of 1 by K1. So this is the theoretical graph between 1 by K dash and 1 by A. But experimentally it was found that this graph deviates from linearity at low values of 1 by A1. At low 1 by A1, at low 1 by A or at high A, high concentration or high pressure of gas, this graph deviates from linearity. So this is the fourth limitation of Lindemann theory. So to overcome these limitations, there are other theories proposed by scientists for this unimolecular gaseous reactions, and they are Hinshelwood theory, RRK theory, RRKM theory. So these are other theories, but questions are generally asked from Lindemann theory in CSIR, NET and GATE exam. So this topic is very important for NET and GATE. So watch this completely, and next I will post a video on questions related to this topic. So try to solve those questions after watching this video. Thank you so much. See you in the next class.